Ahoy! Today we're talking about a bunch of stuff from the upcoming patch, being the Season 8 mid-season patch. Now, Hi-Rez has been relatively quiet about this, but there's still a fair bit of information that we can already gather from small hints and from data mining, and we also have a lot of upcoming skins. Let's begin with the changes that are known to some degree. The first one of those some of you may already be familiar with, because it was announced in the bonus balance 8.5, where they changed reinforced shoes and stated, while we have future plans for boots in general in the next patch, mid-season, we did want to make specific changes to reinforced shoes now. So we might be expecting some very significant changes to boots and shoes. What makes me think that these changes are going to be relatively significant is the amount of tweets that Hi-Rez employees have been making. Lemmy when we tweeted, mid-season really is about to be the dopest patch ever, y'all better watch the show on Wednesday, I swear to God. Titan Ponpon tweeted, can't wait to go over mid-season tomorrow. Only downside is I can't really say anything about it without spoiling stuff. Playtests have been wild is all I can really say. And Titan Cupcake said that it's going to be a crazy show. So I have a feeling they can't specifically talk about the changes, because if they talked in detail about a boots or shoes change, it would just take away a lot from the hype of learning it on the patch notes. It could, however, also be something else, because we are also due for a Conquest Map change. As you likely recall, in patch 8.4 we had the introduction of vines and a change of the skybox, and now we have something that'll somehow relate to the next upcoming god, likely Charybdis. The interesting thing is, if you look at the color filters essentially that are applied by these different designs, I almost have a feeling that the skybox is going to change again, and maybe we get more of an ocean themed one this time, like the old arena theme. And along with that, something else will happen, and this is where Smite data mining actually has more information. And that's where this beautiful fella comes in. I'm actually not 100% sure if this is rendered from Smite's in-game files or if this is just an example, but either way, in the data mining there is information about a Draugr. And the Draugr will be added to the Conquest Map apparently and provides a buff. Along with that, there is a dialogue option that gives you 2 to 3 conversations, but it's not clear how that works. I really don't know what that means. I could imagine that maybe you have to do specific things to get different versions of the buff, and then depending on that, the dialogue may change, the voice lines that you hear or something, but I really can't tell. If the Draugr is really going to look like that, it looks like we're going to have to deal with a pretty massive enemy, though I'm not quite sure how this will relate to Charybdis, but then again, the vines also didn't directly connect to Gilgamesh, so there might be more to the story behind it. This particular Draugr kind of looks like he came out of the ocean anyways. Obviously, the next patch will also contain the Stranger Things Battle Pass, so we have those skins to look forward to. And then there is some speculation about other things that might happen. Technically, we have some data mining for the Bastet rework, but I don't think that'll happen in the mid-season patch, because if it did, I would assume they would have already done a closer look similar to the way they handled Persephone. Unless they're handling that very differently, I imagine that would be a little bit later. And likewise, I don't really expect Slash to be announced at this point yet either. I think we might see some teasers for it or some map design, but I think if it was ready, we would have heard more about it beforehand as well. But what we do have are some extremely cool skins. As always, these have all been data mined and rendered by Daredust on Reddit. The post can be found down below, and as always, keep in mind that the renders don't necessarily 100% reflect the in-game look, because sometimes the shaders end up looking a little bit different. The first one of those is Star Sentry ESET, which you can see right here. Her entire model gives me immediate Overwatch vibes. I think the comparison is inevitable here. She looks very much like Mercy. Looking at her in-game design, her front view also reflects that. Obviously a little bit more sci-fi here. I like the weapon style especially, as well as the wings. So there's a lot of technological independent floating parts going on, which usually makes for pretty cool animations. And then here we have the side view of the same model, as well as the back view. This skin is in the next part of the Talents of Tyranny event, and all of the skins in this particular data mining will be announced with the bonus balance, or released with the bonus balance. Let's have a quick listen to the voice pack as well.
You ever seen a monster killer as good as me? Nope, didn't think so.
Next up is Spirit of the Bear Terror. Different from the usual order, we are going to start looking at the model first, because there's a little cool surprise here. So this is her in-game model, which I think looks extremely cool. It's just extremely cool design. It's kind of like tribal look with this bear paw over her shoulder. Obviously this war paint going on, certain claws and spikes coming out of her armor pieces that also have fur under them. Really, really, really cool. I really like the skin. One of those that gives me slight World of Warcraft vibes in a really, really good way. Here we have the side view of the same skin. You can also see some more marks on the arm here. And here we have the back view. Now, this skin, in my opinion, is already cool as is, but what makes it way cooler is this. If the passive is active, then a bear spirit will appear over her body and kind of give her these claws as well as the bear covering her own face. And I think this looks super, super cool. This is super well designed. And because Terra has these heavy swinging basic attacks, I think with these claws it's really going to look like she's mauling the enemy. It's basically going to be a second Artio. Would even think that a skin like this for Artio would be cool, where she just kind of stays human, but I guess that wouldn't be possible because of the recognizability. The side view shows us that the ponytail unfortunately kind of pokes out of the model, which I think looks a little bit weird, but that's a minor downside in my opinion. We can see the same thing in the back view. Looks a little bit awkward, but really, considering the rest of the skin, I gladly overlook this tiny bit here. Here's a look at the card art as well, and what's really cool about the skin is that it's actually part of the Talents of Tyranny as well, so it's going to be relatively accessible. It's not locked behind a normal chest or something. Let's have a quick listen to her voice pack.
Best wishes upon you.
The third skin is Steel Falcon Horus. As the name says, it's basically a mech version of Horus, which honestly might make for some interesting effects on his abilities. Here's his in-game model, which gives me slight combat medic vibes, which I think is very fitting. There are various little text bits on his body, for example, 001 Heru, and something on the wings as well, which I'm not quite sure what it's saying. It's just a random order of numbers and letters, I think, but maybe there's some hidden lead speak in there or something I can't figure out. But either way, I think it's a pretty nice looking skin. You can also see this interesting headlight. I wonder how that's going to look in-game. And here is the side view of the same model. We also have the back view here. You can see his camo pants, which is kind of funny. You can also see the mechanism behind his wings, which looks pretty unique. I don't know how exactly that'll animate in-game, but that could be pretty cool. This skin will not be as accessible and will be in the Steel Falcon chest instead. Here is a listen to the voice pack.
Radio silence, now!
And then there's this guy. I'm gonna give you a second to guess which god this is for. This is Oni Hunter Ram. Very interesting Ram skin in my opinion. Even though we have an item called Oni Hunter's Garb, I actually didn't know what an Oni Hunter is, and I finally looked it up, so it's apparently a demon hunter. As such, we can see multiple of those demon faces on his weapon, on his armor here, and apparently some horns as well. I'm not sure how they fit in, but I'm sure some of you will have a deeper knowledge of that. And here we have the side view of him. Pretty interesting hair going on there, as well as the back view here. I think it's a very interesting cross-pantheon style for Ram, so I always enjoy those skins in general. Here's a listen to his voice pack.
Fight with honor.
I think this matches the skin quite well, and it'll be in the Oni Hunter chest, which is a new chest introduced for this particular skin. Feel free to click like and subscribe if you want to stay updated for more news about the mid-season patch. Important note on that one, I am not 100% sure if I will upload a live reaction. We'll see depending on what type of content is in there. So either that's gonna happen or something else, but this time it'll likely be relatively close to the patch notes because my sleep schedule is ruined anyways, so I might as well stay up for it. That doesn't necessarily mean that that'll be the format for all upcoming patch shows. Thank you for watching, and thanks to my patrons for making this video possible. That is Nick Walker, Dwayne Brennan, Lanta25 Green, Zolaria, Zed the Undead, Nevitz Jr., Rawas, Angel, Erix88 and Z Ferroli, as well as everyone else you see here. If you want your name on this list too, then click on the Patreon icon, which should be showing up on the screen right now.